Welcome to episode 6 of the Smash Podcast. Today, we've got the one and only Simon Thomas on the show with us. He brings some great knowledge, some great understanding, some grit to the episode. You're not going to want to miss this one. This episode of the Smash Podcast is brought to you by Real District Ventures, bringing together real estate, title, and building experts to create lasting value. From first plans to final keys, Real District Ventures is building the future.
All right, let's go ahead and get started, guys. Really good to be here today, and super humbled to have Simon with us, Simon Thomas, somebody who I've met through Sam. Wonderful to have you here again, Sam.
Thank you.
I know I always say this, but I can't keep them away. But love having you here with us.
Pay me too much.
Yeah. So, but absolutely humbled to have you here with us, Simon. You know, we've met a few times, had some discussions, and, you know, I'm going to say this about you. You know, I watch your stuff on social, LinkedIn, Instagram, Facebook, and, you know, there are times when what people say and what they do don't line up. And I'm going to tell you right now, what you see Simon talking about, working hard, responding, getting back, this man's the real deal. So great to have you here with us.
Thank you. I'm glad to be here. Appreciate it.
So, you know, first thing I want to know is what's the 2-3 minute version of who is Simon Thomas? What makes you who you are? I mean, you can't be that hard of a worker without having something thrusting you, you know, as a child, as you just tell me who is Simon?
I mean, honestly, it's a good question. I'm a very simple person. I don't really, you probably don't get that when you come to our office, but, I grew up in a household where my dad owned a business, worked very hard, a roller coaster every single day, ups and downs, and risking everything all the time. And we got used to it. We got immune to it. And it's ingrained in me. I don't really, you know, we grew up in the banquet hall business, weddings, right? So my dad every day would say it's the most important day of someone's life every day. You know, you own a restaurant, you got to be on, but it's not their wedding, right? And when I got into real estate, selling homes, it was kind of the same thing. This is their home. This is the most important purchase, really. I mean, we work with executives, CEOs that make big decisions every day, and they can't make decisions when it comes to their home because it's emotional, right? So who's Simon? It's I would say if anybody who really knows me, I'm a pretty simple dude. I don't like being around a lot of people. So anybody who really knows me is like, how are you building this company with all these people? I have a very close-knit group of friends that really I'm very close to. Not very many people, but I'm friends and acquaintances with a lot. And I don't want to say it's an act. It's not an act. But when I wake up and go to work, I kind of look at it like showtime. It's become more natural to me. But I did what we did because I couldn't stand that no one else was doing it right. So I didn't want to be a broker. I didn't want to own these businesses. I came from the business world of brick and mortar and overhead and just mayhem, right? And I was a sales guy, have a closing, the money was mine. This is amazing. I never wanted to, you know, bring on all this responsibility and liability and be my father. I never wanted that. But after doing it for 7 years, I'm like, these brokers just suck. They don't even look at us like clients. I'm paying them and they're telling me what to do. That doesn't make sense. I came from the world of you. If you pay me, I'm here to service you. What do you need? What do you want? Going 6-7 months without talking to anybody at the brokerage. I just paid you, you know, a lot of money to be here, and you don't even know my name, my kids' names, if I got married that month. I thought that was a little crazy, right? So we kind of did it just because we felt like we had to, but not because I really wanted to. But then once we jumped, it was like, oh shit, here we go. We got to make this right. And whatever we do has got to be right. I'm pretty anal like that, and that comes from my father. It's just got to be right. So who am I? I don't know. I'm just trying to figure it out like everybody else, I guess.
That's great, man.
Right.
That's great. I think that's what I enjoy about this is that when we sit down with people who are successful and have done a few things, and when they say, I'm trying to figure it out just like you are, a guy like me, and I'm sure people who are watching this, there's a even playing field at that point.
Well, yeah, and I get it all the time. People will say to me, this happened the other day. I ran into a guy that I've known for a while. He's a builder. He says, how's it going over there at Adobe? And I said, just trying to figure it out. He's like, man, it's been 7 years. You haven't figured it out yet. I'm like, who's figured it out? Like, you figured it out? Because just because you're doing business, there's always things that are happening and changing, and people and dynamic and just technology. You have it figured out. If the second you think you have it figured out, bro, you should get out. You should be done.
Right.
So
no, that's good. That's very good. And one of the things I remember, you said you had a post, I don't know, a few months ago, and you talked about like when you walk into the office and that flipping the light switch on, it's like game time. And what I liked about that was it doesn't matter what industry you're in, how long you've been doing it. Like I played high school sports, and that feeling of you run out of the locker room and the music's playing, like you can't beat that feeling. And whatever it is, whether you were in band or drama, that feeling of going out and crushing the day or the game for, with that music blaring, with the lights switching on. That's what I loved about what you said. And even that example of the light switches, it doesn't matter how hard or easy the industry is, let's say, because, one of the questions I asked you in your onboarding was, hey, what is a misconception of, a real estate agent or somebody in your industry? And what your answer was that it's easy.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So one of the things you mentioned was like, I don't want people to think small. What do you mean by that? Think small.
It's not even necessarily thinking small. Like we say it all the time. We get realtors who will say, well, I don't do enough business to be at Adobe, or I don't, my goal is to just do make 50 grand a year. I don't know if I do enough business to be there. And I'm like, guys, our goal is just to make sure you hit your goal. Like we have moms who want to do 4 extra homes a year so they can go on a nice trip every year and help their husbands out and go on beautiful trips, or a good trip, a nice trip every year. Like, okay, let's do it. Right. And like guys are like, I want to make $2 million a year. Let's do it. Right. Like I want to make 200 grand a year. Let's do it. Right. So, but whatever you say you're going to do, let's do it. Right. Like, I want to own $100 million revenue business one day, and I'm probably going to die trying if I don't get there. Right. Let's do it. Let's figure it out. Let's go through the motions. And if you're one of those guys, I would love to be a mentor to you. I'd love to help you if you're much younger than me and you're green, right? I mean, we've had agents who come to us and say, hey, I think I'm going to start my own deal. I'm like, I had that itch. I'm not going to deter you from it. I could tell you anything you want to stop you, to try to keep you here. But if that's an itch you got to scratch, go and do it. But do it, bro. Like, I'm going to tell you right now, like, it's game time. Like, are you prepared? Second you put, your money where your mouth is. We jump ship. We were a 7-man team at KW, okay? And I did it I walked in there, and it's a great brand. It's a great, successful, organization across the globe, right? I mean, they're awesome. But I didn't feel it right away. I'm like, this ain't for me. This team thing's not for me. I respect it, but it's not for me. We gotta do something different. And we went and signed a lease on our current space. It was 4,000 square feet. Got a great rental rate, but we had to do the whole build out. It was a garage, basically. And we just started doing this build out, and it got crazy. And
it's where you're at now?
Where we're at now.
Okay.
And in the second we did that, that's when the light bulb went off. This isn't fun anymore. Like, my house is on the line. My kids are on the line. My wife's income's on the line. My savings is on the line. My credit's on the line. Like, if I don't do this right, if I don't take this serious, like, this could really end up very bad. Where, like, when you're a sales guy, you don't show up, you don't lose money. You might lose the deal, but you don't lose money. And I tell agents all the time, you want to make a lot of money, go put 100 grand up. If I told you put $100,000 in escrow right now, but you got to make 100 grand this year to get it back, you do it, right? But if you don't hit your 100 grand, I get to keep it. We would have way more successful agents because it'd get them out of bed earlier. you just said you wake up at 4 a.m. That happened out of stress probably 30 years ago when you got into business. That's not something you just, I'm going to start setting my alarm for 4 a.m. It's just you wake up at 1:30 and you're like, holy shit, here we go, right? How am I going to make this work? But that's the only way businesses, founders from, things from scratch work. So I look at thinking big, and it's not necessarily like you got to go out and build these huge things. You don't, but let's think beyond today. Let's think beyond this month. And that's not a lot of people do that. I take that for granted sometimes because naturally, we grew up in a household. That's what we talked about the future. We talked about business. We didn't talk about sports. Like my dad walked in and he'd be like, why are you watching football? He'd get mad at me and my brothers. They're not watching you at work. Why are you watching them?
Right.
And you'd be like, yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Like they're not watching me pick up the phone every day, right? So let's go, right? So I don't know if that answers your question, but it's more of just the intensity level. Like you got to take this serious because you're going to grow old one day. God willing, you grow old. And you gotta, if you do things right, you don't want to be a burden on your kids. You want to be able to afford, your house. You want to be able to put yourself in a position to where, when your energy level is down and gone, like in your 60s and 70s, you're not stressing. You're not a burden. And that's a very serious thing that I take serious. And I tell everybody that I work with, let's go.
You see it a lot with social media today too. A lot of dreamers, no doers. Whatever your goal is, do it.
Do it.
That's it. Do it. And they get all this false influence from all these people that, portray this success, however they get it. But success isn't easy. Success is stressful and you gotta you gotta dwell in it. You gotta do well in it. You gotta be ready for it.
Yeah.
But commit to it, right?
Commit.
Do it. Whatever it is, do it.
And I think what we do take for granted too, growing up where we grew up, ethnic, Lebanese, Italian, a lot of people around us, it's kind of it kind of was ingrained in us. A lot of people we knew just owned businesses. Even guys like Sam, when you surround yourself with these kind of people, I didn't naturally do that. That just, I was blessed with being around those types of people.
Yeah.
But they do sometimes make it look easy.
Yeah.
People look at what we're doing and they're like, man, that's great. That's amazing. It's awesome. When we were losing money year over year, everyone was congratulating me and I'd get pissed. I'm like, we haven't done anything yet.
You grew up with a bunch of people that just had their own businesses.
I remember hearing your story. I
Not
swear,
only
I'm
in
not
your
just saying
family,
this
but
because you're
friends
sitting
too,
here.
right?
I remember hearing your story from my Uncle Paul 20 years ago. And being this guy started pushing a lawnmower, and he grew it to, where he is. You're driving down the street, and I see your nursery with all these trees, and I'm like, that started from pushing a lawnmower.
Yeah.
And his dad was a produce guy, right? He wasn't a second gen that inherited all this stuff. Hard work. And I'm sure tons of failures, tons of risk, tons of time, lost money, lost time, but it's you don't stop, and you figure it out. But I'm not saying, that's a very rare story, but in our little circle, our little bubble, there's a lot of these guys. There's not a lot like you, but it's out there. Even just a small pizzeria that they started, and it's just a very successful pizzeria, right? That's not easy.
But what you're saying is it's the success is measured on not stopping. Keep going, go after it. Scratch the itch. The end result, sometimes you feel like that's it. It's the grind that's in the middle that creates really the growth.
You know what it is? It's the social media. People think it's easy, right? So I was listening to an interview of a CEO of a billions of dollars of this this company that he runs, and he said he's 76 years old. He said business is like in a Rubik's cube. Most people start that Rubik's Cube, they realize they're not going to figure it out, and they quit. He's like, you cannot stop. Meaning they might have started thinking I want to get to 100 agents and do $3 million in revenue and whatever, right? And that's my goal, and I want to make $500,000 a year. Well, then you start going, you're like, holy shit, to get to 100 agents, this is nuts. Or man, I thought I could charge X and the market only allows this. Or man, this competition now is like really cheap. They're a national company. They're blowing us. Like there's so many things that like roadblocks, right? Which is that like, okay, I got it. I got one color right now. I'm gonna get the other side, and then you start to do it, and you messed up the other side. It's like, but you cannot stop until
they're not even roadblocks. They're walls.
Yeah.
You're going to run into walls, and you're going to have to figure out how to go right through them.
Right.
Because you're going to run into them, and most people have an idea, and then they get deterred, and they see that wall, and they stop, and they say, this isn't for me. And then they go to this, and then they go to that, and you got to just go through the wall, period. You got to keep going. You got to have that ambition, if you want to make it.
And there's always different levels. So like when you're losing money every day, which I've done for 6 years growing my business, it drives you, it motivates you. Some people, it would probably go the other direction. Some people, like it motivates you. But I will say, we became profitable. It became worse for me because I don't ever want to go back.
Right.
But you see a lot of people, you see this a lot with agents. It drives me nuts. Agents come to us, or you just see them in the industry, and they get to $20 million in sales, and they're making $300,000-$400,000 a year, and that's a lot of money, right? But now they're arrogant. They're not the same humbled person that they were. They think they've made it, and like year over year, they're still doing 20-25 million. And then they come and meet. And it's a reason why a lot of them don't come to me, because my first thing is why aren't you doing 50 million?
Right.
Why aren't you doing 100 million? I got in this business 15 years ago. There was a group of us that were all around the same age. We were all doing 15 to 20 million together 10, 12 years ago. These guys are still doing those numbers. We're doing, $500 million in sales. We're doing, 2,000 title orders a year now. We're doing construction. And I'm not knocking them. They have a great thing, but be humble.
Right.
If you're humble, I'm happy. But like when you're arrogant, or like because you never thought you were going to make that kind of money, now it's went to your head. It's like, well, my first reaction to you is, why aren't you doing more? You know what I mean? We have agents who like, I just want to make $250 a year over year, and I'm happy. And they're good people. That's success, right? Like to me, that's success. But the guy who's arrogant, it's like, but they're you gotta constantly to grow. It's like winning a hand of poker, right? You got all these chips. It's like you could walk away, or you can push them back in, and that's hard to do. And that's why when a lot of people get to those numbers, they're not willing to do what they were willing to do when they were broke, work the amount of hours, invest in the things that get them to the next level, because it's hard. It's really hard to do, but I think it's the only way to do it if you want to grow, make something happen.
Well, and I mean, there's no doubt you're going to eventually hit a hard time.
You have to.
You're going to, you have to, but it's what makes you grow. Like, and that's where, even myself, it's like, I don't want to face those times, but I know that when I do, that's what's making me better for the next time. So, tell me a time when, and I know you used like the gift basket example. Tell me a time when, people talk about tough times, but tell me about one of those times.
So here, I'll give you this. Like I've had, all different levels, but they all feel the same because of where you are in your life. So about 2 years ago, I don't know what it was now, probably 2.5 years ago, I invested in mortgage, right? And I got my butt kicked. And we were growing really fast. And again, like we're growing in the agent count, we're killing it. But we were at a point, like I remember I went on a golf trip with my brother, and he's like, it was in November, and I remember waking up at like 1:30 in the morning, and the anxiety was through the roof. Like I literally thought like I was having a heart attack. I'm like, I'm sweating. I'm like, where the hell is this coming from? Right. And I remember going for a walk at like 2 a.m. We're in Texas, right? Because I went with my brother, and I remember thinking, I sat in this chair and I remember thinking, I'm never doing this again. Like, I'm not living like this, right? And when I got back, I was blowing a bunch of money in mortgage. I was growing like a weed, but that costs a lot of money, right? Sometimes you got to grow, make decisions and then let them come to fruition. My team probably wanted to kill me because I was coming up with new ideas every day. And it was bad. Like we were losing money, and there was no more equity in my home to grab. There was no more money to borrow from friends and family. You know, it was done. Like, I have to make this work, right? Going in and laying off 5, 6, 7 people. Like, are you kidding me? What does that look like? These are good people, right? So we went back. I went back and I literally locked myself in the office and I started whiteboarding. I'm like, how can I turn this thing around? Because quitting isn't an option either. You know, you own millions of dollars. I have 7 years, 6 at that time, 5 years of my life into this thing. Like, how would I ever? I'm not going to be that guy, right? I'd rather just die in this office. I mean that. And I started whiteboarding. Okay, what can we do here to turn this around? You know, all right, eliminate this. You know, it's a hard decision that I've been prolonging, but if I make it, it turns the business around by X. Let's look at our comp plan. I just started whiteboarding, and then I said, all right, what's the easiest to the hardest? In the next 30 days, we're making these decisions. And all of a sudden, before you knew it, we went from a $40,000, $50,000 a month loss to now making well more than that every month. And everyone's, you know, people felt it, don't get me wrong, but it was what was necessary. And now we have revenue to, not so I can go buy nice things, we have revenue to make the company better, right? And that's when the light bulb went off. I'm like, this Apple makes money. Right. They don't lose money. Like, I felt bad charging what I was supposed to charge for doing great work, right? We're the best in town when it comes to service. We're at your beck and call. We're treating it like your wedding every single day. I got to charge because I need the revenue so I can invest in technology, so I can, you know, do these things. Because how am I going to run this company while I'm waking up at 3 a.m. in the morning, sweating and having heart attacks, and I'm killing it for people, right? So that's, you know, but those are tough moments. That's when a lot of people, you know, would quit. And what I think about are the older guys that I know, like in their 70s and 80s, who talk about the past. Those were their best times. Right. I don't want the past to ever be my best times. I don't want to be 50, 67 years old, like, oh, I built, you know, a long time ago, I built this company called Adobe. It was amazing. It was the best in town. Where is it today? You shut it down because you couldn't make it work, right? That's not going to be me, right? People, you know, that was like, that moment was the best time of their lives. When I'm 80, you know, the best time of my life is still going to be that time, right? So that's what I keep thinking about to get through those moments is like, I can't quit here. I can't quit, you know? And when your money's on the line, it's really not an option. Like, I hate to say it. Like, if you didn't have any money on the line, you'd walk away. But when your money's on the line, you're like, no, literally, I literally cannot quit, you know? So you got to start making really hard decisions. You're going to upset people. You're going to piss people off. Right. But you got to always do what's best for the company, not yourself. Because those decisions didn't make me look good. People were mad at me. People were upset at me. But at the end of the day, I said, guys, you can shop. You can go other places. We don't want to. We love it here. Well, that's what it takes. This is what it takes, you know?
So, I mean, you know, I'm just sitting here thinking, anyone listening to this, why, and I'm going to ask you both this, why would you do something that you're going to, you know, wake you up at 2 a.m. like you got a heart attack? Why?
It is what it is. You just keep going. So when he tells his story, if you don't have that in you, you have no business dreaming any further, because it's just part of the game. And you got to almost love it. As crappy as it is in the moment, you look back at it and you say, oh my gosh, what did I get out of this? Well, I got a profitable business, and I found out who's loyal to the mission. And I found out, you find out who's with you. Sometimes there's guys that you think are with you, and you have a conversation with them, and maybe they got to take a little bit of a haircut today for, a bigger payday tomorrow, and they walk. And then you realize, yeah, maybe that guy, it was a bad judgment, So you build a stronger team. And then you go through a couple of these things and you really build a strong team. And then you realize, who's going to be with you, because that's another thing too. Like, you're building multiple businesses, you're not doing it on your own. You got to have good leaders around you, solid guys, loyalty. You look at anybody who's super successful, they might be the front guy. Simon's the front of his, front and center in the camera. I'm sure he's got a ton of good people behind him. And as that organization grows, if you don't go through times that are challenging, you won't find out who the leaders really are, and you will not grow your business without the right people around you, because ultimately it takes a lot of talent to grow, the types of businesses that he's growing. It's not It's not just him.
Yeah, you need a lot of smart people. You need loyalty. You need grit. You know, it's hard to find. It's getting harder to find. You know, smart and grit typically doesn't go together. But yeah, and I think a lot of people don't do it thinking they're going to go through these times. They like, I think about like Phil Knight. I read a lot now. I never did growing up, but kind of calms my mind a little bit.
The Nike guy?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, he got into shoes. If you read his story, you know, 20, 30 years of like rough times. I don't think, but he did it because he loves shoes. I don't think you get into it. You know, they say like, and again, I don't, you know, if I'm saying this wrong, forget about it. But like the reason when Tiger Woods felt like when Tiger Woods had his fall, he's never gonna go. He could never go back to who he was because he knew what it take to get there.
Right.
Like when you get into it, you don't know. So it's like, this is going to be fun. This is going to be great. And then a challenge happens. You're like, once we get past this, we're good. And then another one happens. You're like, once we get, then after like it happening over a long period of time and over again, you're like, maybe this is just the way it's going to be. There's always going to be roadblocks and tough shit come your way. And like, I have to get good at solving problems. And then that's when people, after one or two roadblocks, you'll see them either build up a stamina to enjoy it, get better, right? And I realized really quickly, like my dad's work ethic only got me so far, right? Like I need to start studying other people. I need to start learning from other people. I need to start learning, you know, I got to become a different person to take this thing from $1 million. Like my dad's grit got me to X, right? That work ethic, caring about the details got me to X, right? But if I'm going to go to the next step, I got to become a whole different person, right? Like I got to get up at 4 a.m. and be up. I got to read more. You have to, or else you don't know what you don't know, and you're not doing your people. You're not doing your job, especially as a CEO of the leader of the business. If you're not getting better, you're not doing your job, right? So when I find myself getting to a point where it's like, man, either I'm comfortable or I don't know what to do. That's when I start doing more, right? And because it's like I got to change who I am and learn from the people that have done it, because there's a lot of people. It's a very small percentage, but it adds up to a lot of people that have done it before you, who've been through this stuff. And I believe if you listen to books or read books or talk to good people around you, you're like, oh, I'm not alone here. They went through it and they made it.
Right.
That gives me confidence. Like when they tell you these stories, you're like, wait a minute, you do X, you're that big and you went through something that stupid, and he's like, yeah, I almost sold my company, you know, for pennies on the dollar because I couldn't take it anymore. But now, you know, and then years later, they sold it for $500 million, right? And it's not about the money. It's not about the money, but it's like, oh, okay, I'm not the only one going through this or who have went through this, right?
Yeah, I think that's why it's important. What you guys are saying is you're saying stick to it, don't give up. But you know, there's this mentality out there like, I'm going to figure it out. Like, I'm going to do it so that when I can look back, I can say, look what I built. But at the end of the day, we have to find people we can rub shoulders with, have relationships with that can help us get better, you know, and social media, AI, all that stuff. You guys know, I love that stuff. I eat that stuff up, but you can't replace the relationships and helping each other get better and finding people. I think it's profound what you said. Like my grandfather owned a print shop, I think right down the road from your guys is the banquet hall. Like if he had an 8th grade education, you know, the grit, the hard work, I learned a lot from it, but I had to find other people to be with to help me get to that next level and not just say, well, Ryan's smart and I'm going to try to figure this all out by myself. It doesn't work.
No,
I'm going to hit a plateau. You
need a team, and in the beginning, you can't afford a team, so you need to build those relationships. Always be building those relationships, but you know, and I don't say this to be cocky or arrogant, but there's not many founders. Not many people can handle the $0 to $5 million growth, right? If you meet somebody who's done that, that's a different human being. And a lot of times, those guys aren't the guys that take it to.
It's a lonely grind.
It's a lonely grind. I don't know if it ever becomes not lonely, but like. the no revenue, making things work with no revenue, but then being around people and they don't know what you're really going through. That's a hard thing to do, or moving money around and borrowing, and it's a different level, and you need to be extremely competitive, extremely motivated. But then when you get to and be surrounded around people that just can get it done with you. But then you get to that level where it's like, okay, I need specialists. I need people who are really good at like this thing, right? Like I need I need people who like, in the beginning it's generalist, then it goes to specialist, but recognizing that, and also you're going to start this thing, but maybe the vision has changed. Like my thing has always been like a really a shitty team with a great idea will mess it up, right? An unbelievable all-star team, right? The Avengers of a team can make a really shitty idea a great one, right? And that's because it's when these founders and these CEOs get stuck in their ways of like, this is what we're doing, this is what we're doing, this is what we're doing. Well, maybe you got to listen to the people around you and maybe change what you're still doing it. You're still in that business. Like I never wanted to own 4 companies. I wanted to own one company and do it really well and get to 1,000 agents and da 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 da. And then you get into it, it's like, oh my God, I need to have title. Oh my God, like I got like there's no houses to sell right now. We got like construction makes sense, and how do we do this to where I don't screw it up? And like it's not what I wanted. I wanted to do one thing really well, and now I'm like, well, how did this happen? Right? Because we have good people.
So tell me about Rail District Ventures. What makes it up?
So Rail District Ventures, our current office and our first office is in Rail District, which is Birmingham Rail District. So we came up with Rail District Ventures. We've had it for a long time, and I've been the CEO of Dobie, the managing broker of Dobie for the last 6-7 years, and now it's evolved into much more. We have brokerage as a revenue stream, we have title as a revenue stream, we have construction as a revenue stream. So we have a lot of different, and it's not Dobie Construction, they're different entity names. We have Rhino Building Group, a great team there running that. We have, we do a lot of different things with that. A lot of different opportunities come our way. We have title, that's, a good sized title team now that's managing our title division and doing a great job. And then we have brokerage, and we decided, I hate titles. I don't even like doing this stuff. I'm not going to lie. I don't like people even knowing who I am, but it's necessary to kind of grow it. But we said, you know what? We're going to market Rail District Ventures a little bit more. We have a great team that works on all brands. I'm one of those people with our marketing team. We have some great executives who are coming on and helping these businesses grow. And they're not just Dobie, right? So Dobie is one thing that we do. We have a great team managing and running Dobie. So Rail District Ventures, and we have goals to open up. They're all feeders. They all feed each other. No business. We're not going to do a business that doesn't fit into the home service market. That's where we came up with it. So yeah.
So like, it sounds, you got multiple businesses here, but I know Dobie. That's what I know, and like, what do you say to somebody who's considering being an agent? Like, just starting out, hey, I see you guys got a great social media presence. It looks really cool. You got a cool space. I want to be a real estate agent. What do you say to somebody who's ready to jump into that business? Because it looks real flashy.
Yeah. The first thing I want to know is like their background. I start kind of asking them questions. If they're I'm not saying they can't do it. Anybody can make anything happen. But if they're young, haven't really done anything right out of college or no college at all, and they're like, I want to be a realtor. I'm like, great, get your real estate license, but go do something else in the meantime. Okay. Like, go learn, go get your butt kicked. Like, this business, the best people at this business, and this is me stereotyping, but it's what I have found, and I'm one of these people. We have failed at a lot of things and then found our way into real estate, and we don't take it for granted. Like, all the people making a really good living in our business, like, we have a girl who's a dental hygienist, right? Went to school, did all these crazy things, had this crazy debt to go to school, making, 30, 40 grand a year, being, all these, thinking it was going to be amazing. And she's like, I have no free time and I'm not making any money. She gets into real estate and she's like, oh my God, right? Like, this is amazing. Now she's one of the top agents in the market. Me, moving tables and chairs all night long. You know, a wedding gets done on a Friday. The night's just starting, right? At 1 a.m., we're resetting that thing up for Saturday, Sunday. 40 hours in 3 days. I'm like, I sold a house the first time I got into real estate. I'm like, wait a minute, I just made $1,500 and I didn't have to physically move any. I did it from this thing. Like, right. I'm in. Right. Here we go, right? So like the people who have kind of like been in other places and realized the value of this thing is important. So I'll tell people all the time, like, if you haven't really done much, go do something else. Learn the business, pay attention to it, shadow, come to our office, hang out. I love when people are there, but it's the guy that's like, hey, and we have a couple of these guys. I owned a business. It was it got bought out. Corporate bought us out, and I ran this thing for 10 years, and I got 2 kids, and they're 30, 35 years old. I'm like, let's go. And those guys end up killing it because they're the same thing I had, where it's like, I can go sell a house and make $10,000, right? And that's the part that's also misconstrued. Like, I just made 10 grand, and we have clients who will say this all the time, like, oh, don't spend all your money in one place. It's like, dude, I showed you houses for 2 years.
Right.
We started talking 2 years ago, and I didn't show you houses from 9 to 5. I showed you houses on Saturday. I came home early from up north. I was walking down the aisle closing a deal when I got married. I swear, that's a real story. The lady called me. She goes, I know you're getting married right now. It's 3 o'clock. I know you're getting married now, but I have a quick question. It's like narcissism, right? Like, I should have got paid 10x on that deal. Right. So it's and then you have taxes, you have brokerage fees, you have all these things, but it's so that person, it's just like, be ready. It's like saying, I want to be 100% commission. No retainers here, no salaries. And it's like what would you say if a 20-year-old said, I want to be, or a 15-year-old said, I'm going to be in the NBA? I know it's a crazy analogy, but it's like, you can do it, but let's go. Right. Let's get your head right, Man,
do I love this, guys. This is why I love it, is because, like, I saw that, what's the guy's name who owns the UFC? What's the guy's name?
Dana White.
Yeah. I saw a video of his, and he made a comment, and I can't get it out of my head. Like, he said he loves when he's getting ready to go into like a tough time, or like something fails. He gets excited about it because he knows that they're going to get to the next level because they're going through a really tough thing. And I heard you say, like, almost say, if somebody wants to be a real estate agent, go lose a little bit and then come here.
Yeah.
You got to get that grit. You got to lose to get to that next level. Obviously not at the same thing over and over, but you guys it's the real deal. Like, it's not like you say it, you've never experienced it, you've experienced it, it's true.
Well, listen, like we tell our kids that you can accomplish anything. Anybody can almost accomplish anything. But the reality is here it is. You want to be a pro athlete, you got to be that much more committed. The bigger the goals, the bigger the responsibilities, the more you got to really want to do it, because, making $50,000 a year, making $400,000 a year, it's a big difference.
Yeah.
Big commitment. You got to be wired like that. So it's just a matter of finding out, really, what do you want to be? What do you want to do? And how committed really are you? So take all that social media we're talking about and all these goals. I talk to my kids about it all the time. I got sons that want to be pro soccer players, and it's okay, no problem. Let's talk about what these pro soccer players do, right? They're teenagers, and they wake up every single morning, and they lift weights, and they run all over the place, and they train every single day. Do you like soccer that much? Yes. Okay, cool. I come home. What'd you guys do today?
Right.
We didn't do anything. Well, you're not going to be a pro soccer player. It's that simple, and that's okay. But whatever you want to be, understand the bigger the goal. You want to be a pro soccer player, there's 2,000 of them in the world. You better be ready to work really, really hard, and I think that's the part that is, it's not that everybody has to be Ronaldo, but commit to something and don't stop. Go get it.
Yeah.
Right? What's your balance? What do you want to be? You want to have a nice family? You want to be home for dinner at 5 o'clock, 5 days a week? You want to take your wife out 2 times a week? Or you want to just grind and, put business so far out in front of everything that, other things suffer, right? It's a lot, especially like he's got a young family. I have a young family, now it's a different something, right? When you started, you didn't have any of that. You could commit your resources more to your business now, right? Your family's got to be first. Without your family, you have no motivation. Like you're in this, right? So everything's always a challenge, and it's just how committed are you to hitting your goals? Obviously, his goals are still high. He still wants to go a long ways, right? So it's interesting, but you don't see this a lot.
Well, in your family, it's like if you don't put your business first, you're not putting your family first, right?
Yeah,
like people say to me, man, your kids are only young once. Like you should go on more vacations with them. You should do, and I'm like, guys, I hear you, but vacations aren't cheap. I don't know. You know what I mean? Like,
how many vacations did you go on when you were a kid?
None. I didn't go on a plane until I think I was 18 or 19. It was
Would
to go to my
consider
brother's
your dad-
baseball game. It was like we went to Florida to watch him play baseball. I remember getting on a plane and being like, oh my God, right?
Your closest people are your father, your brothers, your mother, your family.
course.
It's just where he comes from. You
Yeah.
have to go on vacation 10 times a year. Just be close to your family and, be the father of his kids and good husband. And you don't have to be home every single day at 3 o'clock if you're running.
And it's not good for your kids, I don't think.
No.
Like the kids that are getting coached by their parents every single day and they're home playing catch. And like my dad never played catch with me. My dad never, my dad worked and we had what we had because he worked. And I think that's a bigger lesson than anything, right? My kids wake up on a Sunday and they're like, you want to work today? That's their first question. Not, can we play catch? It's like, you want to work today?
Right.
For a couple hours. That I work on Sundays, right? Or, I'm going down to the office, don't come in there. And that to me is a bigger lesson. Because if they want to play baseball, if they want to play golf, if they want to do, like, I can teach them, I can show them, but I'm a decent golfer, okay? I never golfed with my father. I wanted it, so I became a good golfer. My son wants to, I'm going to tell him, you want to, just like he tells his kid, you want to play golf, go figure it out, man, but like commit. Right? The way I commit every day to make this all happen, you come in my office, you see all these people, you see all this stuff, I'm committed. You can do that. Just that's a bigger lesson than me actually playing golf with my kid.
Right.
I want to play golf. I would love to wake up and play golf with my kid every day and play catch. And I'm not saying that, right? But people will give work up to do that first, and I'm not knocking them, but somebody told me this a long time ago where there's most people, and this is a very harsh reality, and it's real. Most people live, earn a living, they're born, they earn a living, and then they die, right? And they just live these normal lives. And that's necessary. I hate to say it. And it's harsh, but it's the truth. And it's like, if you want to do something beyond that, or when you pass people remember your name and they're talking about it, or not even so much for ego reasons, like you have to go above and beyond, but there's a lot to this thing.
Well, that's the thing, and I want to make sure we're respectful of your guys' time. But before we wrap up, I want to there's an element to this that you talked about wrapping yourself around, like having a good team around you, but ultimately at this level, it's not about you guys, just you. You know what I mean? Like you're mentoring people, you're helping other people get to what you just described. You know what I mean? So that's the other thing I want to make sure we touch on is once you build this, it becomes bigger than just you.
And just to be clear, I'm here, Sam's here.
Okay.
So I don't I'm not even
Look,
close to this.
I don't even want to make levels. I'm going to say
he's probably better for this. Like I'm still in the grind. This guy, look,
I'm grinding every day, man. Come on.
yeah. It's
Hey,
just
who's a better golfer? You or
right.
me? Who's a better golfer? I'm in the grind. You're doing well.
Yeah.
But I mean, I watch you guys. I watch both you guys, and I see you bringing people up with you. You know what I mean? You're reaching down, saying, "Let me help you." It's not just about, "Hey, you got to grind. I'm gonna build this business for me and my family." Like I watch you guys helping people along with you.
My favorite part of what I'm doing today is meeting people that are motivated and 100% committed to accomplishing their goals. And if I could help those people just a little bit, that's my favorite thing about what I'm doing right now with my personal business, because I I love that. And I see just too many people talk, not enough people walk.
Right.
So when I see that and I see somebody grinding, that's to me the most fulfilling thing, that if I could just help them a little bit, if I could maybe give them some insight or coach them and watch their business grow, to me, that's what I'm most excited, most motivated by in business today, to be honest with you. Just through my experiences, being in business, I'm afforded the opportunity to understand, different businesses, and I love that. That's what gets me motivated to go to work every day, to be honest with you. So, and that's the same with I don't care if you're an adult or a kid. I love attaching on to kids and watching them. I love watching them be successful at whatever it is. Whether it's a kid. My daughter has a friend that's started selling apparel in 7th grade. And the kid's got a pretty cool business now. He's in 11th grade, and it's I love watching kids like that. There's not enough of it. And as mentors, we need to make sure that we're pouring into them kids and giving them the opportunity to be their best, pushing them through the tough times, because they got to understand it. And it don't matter really, in life, whether you're committed to something or not, it's going to be tough, right? It's just, I think I seen this the other day, choose your tough, right? You want to go to the gym every day and take care of your body, or you want to be in the doctor's office getting, worked on every single day in your 60s? I
love it.
They're both tough.
Right.
Right. And it's the same with everything. You want to be
Not
successful.
doing anything is tough. It's a hard life.
That's right. Choose your tough. You want to be broke, or you want to be financially well off? Well, they're both tough. Choose your tough. So that would be my favorite, thing about what I'm doing today, and hopefully get to do a lot more of in my career.
I was part of a network marketing thing probably 17 or 18 years ago now, and I think everybody should do that. I think college is great. I went to college, but college should be 2 years and network marketing should be 2 years if it's a 4-year deal. Because it's, and I remember a guy was on stage talking, and he said, it's easy to make $1 million a year. And I remember I was 20 years old, thinking, how is it easy to make $1 million? He's like, it's easy making $1 million, but can you make other people millions? Right. And I think about that all the time, and I thought, he said, you can be very successful if you can learn how to do that. You're going to be very successful. If you only worry about yourself, you're probably not. You're probably going to have moments of success that you think are a success. I think about doctors a lot. Great, amazing profession. What they do every day. They don't go to work. They don't make money. You know what I mean? If you know how, and it's not about money, right? But if you can help others and you get good at that and you're genuine, you can't do that because you're doing it to make money. It doesn't translate. They'll feel it, right? But if you do it because you truly care and you're doing it and you're being the mentor that and getting good at it, it's a skill set that pays dividends infinity, right? And I think about it with kids, being a mentor. You see it on social all the time. You see these guys out training. They have 100,000 followers. They haven't done anything. Their business is social media. They've never sold anything. Yeah, they're working hard. Content's not easy. It's a lot of work, right? But what have you done, right? And it's not translating. What they're doing is to gain followers so they can get sponsorships or whatever they're getting. It's a business, but it's for themselves, right?
Yep.
Where, imagine if you were raising your kids for you, right? You have to raise them for the skill set. And when you're a mentor, you got to say things that hurt. One of my mentors, my biggest mentor is my brother, Vince. He's an unbelievable mentor to me. He talks to me, but he's brutally honest with me, I'll have an idea and he'll be like, I don't know if we can swear on this thing, but that's fucking stupid, and you're like, okay, you know what I mean? That hits you pretty hard, right? But it's he's right. Or you'll be like, hey, you know what? And he'll be like, bro, focus, man. You could do it, but it's going to slow you down, right? And I tell agents that all the time, I want to do 20 million. All right, well, okay, I want you to close your eyes right now. You have kids, yes. All right, picture being on the phone every day at between 7 and 10. Picture your kid's soccer game and you having to walk away to get on the phone and talk to a client. Picture being at a closing table and it doesn't close and everybody's sitting there. Picture, how do you feel? Are you willing to do that? Oh, and how is your wife or your significant other, your spouse, going to respond to this? Because if they're not on the same page,
Right.
like it ain't going to happen, or you're going to get divorced or whatever. It's why most successful people either have a badass behind them or they're divorced, right? Like, or they later in life meet that person after they've made it because they don't have to go through it with them. It's very, very, very hard, right? So I think coaching these people, it's not so much about like what you got to. It's not so much the what you got to do. Like, you're going to learn purchase agreements. It's the brutal honesty, right? It's
Right.
telling your kid, yeah, you want to be Ronaldo, bro. This guy grew up with nothing on a dirt field, and this is all he had. Like, he had to make this work. You're growing up in a 6,000 square foot home with pools and, like, you can do it, but you got a lot more distractions.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it's not easy, but I love it because you'll see people respond to it. And you can tell the second you have that conversation, like, they're either like, yeah, and that's the guy that you don't go with. It's the one that's quiet,
Right.
that sits there and he's thinking about it. But the one's like, yeah, that's me. I'm going to do it. It's like, dude, you're out of this business in 90 days.
Right.
It's the one that's sitting there just like, you can just see it. It's a thing. I was that. I was just like, I would sit there and soak it in and be like, I'm going to make 20 grand a month. I'm going to make 20 grand a month,
No, this is what I love about this. This is not a podcast of make you feel good so you go do something that you fail at. This is, if you want to do this, you guys just explained the harsh battle that you're going to have to go through. And if it excites you, go do it. If you're scared and nervous and you don't think you can pull it off, maybe it's not the right decision for you. So that's what I love about what we're talking about today is whoever's listening, you got a decision to make, and we just heard from two gentlemen that know what it takes, and and if it excites you, let's do it. I know I'm excited. So,
well, you too, Ryan. I mean, this place is amazing. Your office is beautiful. Your content, everything you do. My team has worked with your team. So, I mean, you're doing it too, man. I mean, it's, I'm sure you're having the same feelings we're talking about.
When you say waking up at 1 a.m. in sweats with a heart attack, I totally feel you, man.
Right.
So,
and that to me is like, that means you're on the right path.
Well, that's what I'm saying is like, I grew up in family business, and I don't want to prolong this, but I grew up watching my father, my grandfather, but not the night sweats. You know what I mean? You don't know it until it's you. And that's where the growth is happening, where I'm experiencing the toughness, the tough trials, and where it was on my grandfather before. And yeah, it was hard. I could see it wore on him, but it wasn't me. Until it was me, you don't understand it. I didn't hit the growth until it was me. So I appreciate everything you guys shared and really, really enjoyed having you guys on the show. Hope it's not the last time. So unless you guys got anything else.
No, bro, we appreciate
All
you.
right.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
See you guys.
Thanks for coming.
Thank you.